for what I was going for based on my dreams. So I just kind of shelved it. I continued pursuing my dreams of doing consulting. It didn't work out. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I should just do a management consulting program, whatever. But marketing it was there, but I never really paid attention to it. It wasn't my initial idea until after I decided to just pay attention. That same mentor of mine from Intel is like, Simi, you know what? I think you should actually just try this. And then I now got into this. I wanted to now work in Sahara because I had like they had one of the best management trainee programs in the country. So I'm like, oh, okay, Sahara is the place. Oil and gas, there's money there. And then an opportunity came up with a fast-moving consumer goods company, which is like they always say is the best place to start your marketing career. My mentor thought it was a good idea, go for it. I said, okay, I would go, but I said I would go for the test to use to prepare for my Sahara test, which was what I wanted to do. Long story short, I ended up becoming the best performing trainee. So the recruitment process for Peter Cousins there were like 5 stages. It was gruesome, and I was best in every stage, which was a pointer that, okay, you know what, this is great. And I really did well in the marketing side of things. So I'm like, you know what, let me just pay attention to, and I failed the Sahara test. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sign that I should pay attention to this marketing. And here we are. So that's how I got into marketing. I think marketing chose me and I finally paid attention to it.
Well, like, thank you very much for that. And how has it been, really? How's it been?
Amazing actually. Amazing. It's a very fine sweet spot for me, which is why I was kind of running away from it, because I felt like it came too easy.
Okay.
I thought it came too easy. I wanted something a bit more technical and hard. Not say that marketing is not technical, because it is. But it's been good. Lots of learning as well. I'm also learning that I don't know as much as I think I knew back then. So it's been very rewarding, I must say.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, and you've said quite a lot of things about mentors, because now I can't even follow it based on whatever I'm just going to flow with how the chat is going. Right? I said quite a lot about your mentor. That means obviously you have mentors.
Sorry, Sophie, you're actually breaking up a little bit.
I've had about people ask like how do they make actually
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said clearly because you were breaking up.
Okay.
Oh, the network. Sorry, guys. I think she's trying to come back. She's muted.
Hello.
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so you can hear me now?
Yes, it's better now.
Yes. So I was asking that you made mention of mentors in how you stumbled on marketing, and I was asking how you actually got these mentors, one, and how you actually even made them be invested in you, your career growth. Like, and if there are even few of your mentors you can mention, like, so that they've helped you and been very instrumental to where you are right now. You could just share.
Okay, so I'll just talk about okay, I'll talk about my first career mentor. It's funny. So he was the marketing manager at Intel, and we just sort of connected. So I knew that he was willing to teach me a lot. I knew that he had identified and sort of singled me out, and I could see that he was taking care to teach and guide me. So I knew there was some interest on his part. And then I also liked who he was, and I liked where he was in his career. I could see myself, or my desired self in him. So I asked if he could be my mentor. It was kind of like, this kind of situation where you and somebody have been talking. I'm a girl, so it doesn't have to be even for guys. You guys have been your friends, but you're more than friends because you're talking every day. And I mean, let's just
Okay.
formalize this, right? So that's what I thought. So I was like, oh, I just saw him casually one day. I'm like, his name is Adim, and he's obviously not here. Like, so Adim, hi, would you be my mentor? And he's like, no. I'm like, what? Did you just
Are you
say no
serious?
to me? I was so mad. I'm like, we're friends. Like we had a very good rapport. So I'm like, what are you saying no to me? Like, who are you? And he's like, no, why should I mentor you? You're so entitled. Do you think that because you're cool, I'll now just say yes? And I'm like, wow. And he's like, can you go back and think about it? No, like, you have to pitch it to me. Why exactly do you want me to mentor you? Um, so I went back that day. I think my best friend, she's on the call.
Wow.
So then I'm like, can you imagine that this guy said no to be my mentor? Like, what? Who says no? So I went back and I thought about it, and I think it was really good because I wanted him to be my mentor because of the relationship we had at that time. But I didn't really think through what I wanted him to do for me and how it would be beneficial for both of us going forward. So he forced me to do that thinking. So I went back and I thought about it. And the next day, I'm like, okay. So I went and I told him, okay, I want you to be my mentor because, one, you've helped me so far, and I think there's so much I can learn from you, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, okay, fine, I'll be your mentor. So that's how I got my first mentorship relationship, really. I asked, but I didn't just ask. There was already a relationship on ground. There was mutual interest from my part and from his part as well. He was already sort of working in the role, which is why I knew that he'd be willing to do it. But of course, he wanted to teach me a lesson by saying no before saying yes. A lesson I don't even know what he was going for till now. But I guess it helped because I was being a little bit too relaxed about it. So that's how I identified that particular mentor. For me, I pick my mentors based on the first thing for me is I have to be able to see my goals in you. And it doesn't have to be the entirety of my goals, but there must be something I'm looking for that I feel like you embody. Two, there must be some connection or some interest. Because if there's no interest, they can formally mentor you, but I find that it's always very inorganic and it can seem a little bit forced. So there must be some sort of interaction or some interest from both ends. And then I try to add value as well. And then I ask. I have some mentors today that I never really asked to mentor me, but we just sort of grew into the relationship space. And here we are. And I also have some mentors that don't even have an idea who I am, but I'm following them from where I am and just learning and growing. I hope that helps.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much for that. I mean, what I got was that it's important to build a relationship. Don't let it be forced. Let it be mutual. Both parties should have interest in each other. And you also talked about pitching it, not just saying I want to have a mentor because I want to have a mentor. Pitching the reason why. You need to have that self-awareness, self-realization, know what you want and be able to vocalize it and say it to the potential mentor. Then you also talked about adding value. That's where I want to ask another question. How do you add the value? Either you go and meet him and say mentor what you need, right? Or I don't know, can you just let me know how examples of ways that you add value?
Okay, so on the subject of adding value, I think it depends. It's there are different ways you can add value to your identified mentor. Sorry, there's someone who's speaking.
Yeah, trying to find the person.
Okay, I think it's better now. Okay, so for example, I had a mentor when I was in university actually, and he used to run this public speaking class, and I was a participant in public speaking class, and he was my mentor, and I added value by being an active member of the class, taking up projects, helping to organize the events, just helping your mentor succeed however you can within the proximity that you guys share. With this particular mentor of mine who works in the same organization that I worked for, luckily I was working under him and I made sure I helped him achieve his own objectives. I mean, we grew the user base and became the first in Africa on that particular project, and it was great for him. He didn't have to manage the telemarketing center at all. I did everything. I checked the numbers, I managed the people, I managed payments, etc., etc. So you can help them achieve their own goals, and it's in different ways. It could be directly. It could also just be. I have a particular mentor now who she's like I call her my auntie, but she's my mentor. And what I do is she has little pet projects that she's running. There was one time she did a closet sale, and I and her other mentees helped her organize, just try and add value to the different goals that they have in your own little way. That counts, because everybody needs somebody at different levels, even if it's just to help. So that's it. So just find ways you can add value directly, indirectly, etc.
Thank you very much, Simi. There was something I picked up that really you have to help the person achieve his or her goals. You cited the example of helping your mentor in the closet sale, and the one of growing the database from 1,000 to 11,000. So I think that's really key. And it really doesn't even have to be something really big. It might be something as little as maybe helping to publicize an event, helping to run their Instagram and do their social media, and do something really small, but I mean really significant. Thank you. Someone is asking someone is asking if it's everything you discuss with your mentor. Then how do you approach what to be? Okay, she has answered that. If it's everything you discuss with.
Personally, some people have 360-degree mentors in people, while some people don't. I have mentors for different aspects of my life, right? I have a career mentor that I do not discuss personal matters with, because the person just doesn't mentor me in that particular aspect. It's career, and that's where the person's strength lies as well. So it depends on what exactly you're trying to get from that person. Remember, before you even get somebody to mentor you, there has to be something that you're looking to get. There has to be an identified commonality or something you're looking to learn. So you just channel your conversations in that direction. I don't necessarily agree with my mentors on every single thing, and that's what it is. So just, if you find someone who is all encompassing, fantastic, but you can have mentors for different areas of your life, as you deem necessary, based on your discretion, really.
Okay, got that. Thank you. And I wanted to ask, I mean, because I know that the two examples you've cited, I think there was one that's the public speaking mentor, and there's one that you were working together with. But are there cases where you like approach, or you see some mentors that you don't have anything bonding both of you together, and you like go for it, like, okay, I want this person to be my mentor, and you deliberately reach out to the person? Are there cases like that? Because someone is asking in the chat that, how do you approach someone to be your mentor? So a case where the person is not working with you, or you're not in the same space or church, are there ways that you approach such people, even if it's the virtual mentors or stuff like that?
Yes, there are ways. I have not done that successfully, I'll be very honest. There's someone I approached via Instagram DMs one time, and our mentorship relationship didn't really kick off. We are cordial now, we're good. I update her on my life, she recommends books for me, but we don't have that kind of solid mentor mentee. We don't have that relationship, and I'm honest with myself. One, because I mean, what had happened in that particular case, and I'd asked this person, is, are you sure you want this person to mentor you? Because there are some times when you're just caught up in the flow of the moment. You know, a mentorship relationship is like you're getting into a relationship with someone, and it takes commitment. And sometimes we're so carried away by how attractive people look that we don't really think through. I thought this person was so fantastic, and I knew that I could learn some things from her. And I went on and slid into her DMs. But the truth is, I didn't think it through, and I didn't really have the bandwidth to be able to invest in that kind of relationship from where I was. So I didn't follow it through. There are other people I know who took that approach and were able to build that relationship with her, but I didn't. So I think you should always ask yourself, first and foremost, am I sure I really need this mentor? Do I really want this mentor? Am I ready to invest in this mentorship relationship? It is possible to build from the scratch. I have a friend who built a mentorship relationship with someone based on an introduction, and then sliding in and giving the person gifts and just being there. It takes longer, So you have to commit and look for common ground. I know someone who started attending the same church with her mentor just for them to have that sort of bond. So you can do it, but you have to first of all be sure of your why, and then you have to woo the mentor, build trust, and on and on and on as the mentor warms up to you. Another thing that you can actually do is take advantage of mentoring programs. I joined the Wimby's mentorship program last year. I took the program. They match you to a mentor based on shared interests, and that's another way you can do it through a formal approach, a formal mentoring program.
Thank you, Simi, for that. I mean, what I got was that you have to be sure that you really want this mentor. Because, I mean, some people might just say because maybe this mentor is very popular on Instagram and has great relationship with younger people, the person is like, I want this auntie to be my mentor, right? And when you sit down and look back, your why is really not strong enough. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
And we also talked about committing, at least that, I mean, you've seen examples that actually were successful, but the person had to commit, be deliberate, look for common grounds on which you can thrive on. And of course, you also talked about mentoring programs, right? And I mean, Wimby's mentee for this year, so we have things in common. Yeah, we're in sync. So yes, I think that is really, important for us to look for avenues like that to get mentors. Then someone also asked if it's okay. Is it okay to want a mentor because you want that person to connect you to the next job you want?
Is that really a mentor? Do you have to go through the mentor route?
Okay.
It sounds to me like you're looking for a sponsor. You know, a sponsor is someone who, you know, you can have a sponsor in your organization. The difference between a mentor and a sponsor is a sponsor sort of gets you a seat on the table, helps you. A sponsor is like a bridge. Let me put it that way. They put you up for opportunities, champion your cause, and help you get into rooms. Do you need to, if you identify someone who can be a bridge between, someone says she can't hear. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. I'll chat out. Maybe she has not connected via internet.
Okay. So if you find somebody who can be a bridge between you and your next career opportunity, I don't think you need to then build a mentorship relationship. You can just be upfront and say, hello, my name is this. I'm at this particular point in my career. I've identified this opportunity, and it would be great if I would appreciate if you could recommend me or something like that. You can just go directly. The idea of warming up to someone just because you want the person to give you something and then calling it a mentorship relationship sounds a little bit, you don't have to go through that route, really. And usually, the truth is that people would recommend you based on, they have to have some sort of conviction in your abilities. It is possible for you to convince them off of Instagram, or you can find mutual connections or someone that can speak to the person for you, but you don't have to go through the route of mentorship. Also, you can have someone I have people who are bridges. I have someone who always recommends me for roles. She's not my mentor. We don't have that relationship. We don't talk every day, but she believes in my competencies. And I let her know. In fact, even I've told her, you know what, I still want to come. I still want to come into the technology industry, for example. That's exactly what happened in our case. So just in case you know of any roles, I'd be happy to switch and move. So you can do it that way. But just be clear on exactly what you want to get out of the relationship. If it's just for the person to be a bridge, just be upfront about it and convince the person of your abilities, and the person could potentially recommend you for those opportunities. You don't have to go the mentor route just because of getting the job.
So more like you should pitch yourself to the person to sponsor. Yes.
Yeah.
Then this is the last question we'll handle on this mentorship program. How do you balance, 2-in-1, how do you balance conflicting ideas or learnings from your mentors or from different mentors? And is there such a thing as too many mentors?
How do you balance conflicting ideas with your mentors? I don't recommend people getting into arguments with their mentors again. And if you're it's like a relationship. I know if if you've been in a relationship with your mentor for long enough, you will know the way they feel about certain things. And honestly, I think the mark of a good mentor is mentors don't necessarily tell you what to do. They help you make your decision. So for example, there was a time when I made a particular career decision that I know that one of my mentors was not entirely in support of. If she were to tell me what to do, she would have told me to go with X instead of Y, but I went with Y. And when I came back and I said, you know what, this is the decision I've made. And she's like, okay, you know, I actually think X, Y, Z. So if you're sure of what you're doing, if you're sure this is what you want, then it's fine. Please go ahead. So you also have to be comfortable enough to be able to
Know what you
explain
want.
why you need to know what you want, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to wear the shoes. And then secondly, if maybe you have a mentor who is, let me give an example. You have a career mentor who is not a faith person, right? And you have the decision to either go to Bible school or take a particular certification course in January. So if you're going to go for Bible school, you probably have to defer the certification course. Now, if you know that the mentor is not big on faith and things like that, the mentor will not be able to understand why you want to do what you're doing. So just don't say it. Don't say it. You're not married to your mentor. You don't have to disclose every single thing about everything. If you know that this is your career mentor, you can just say, you know what, I've decided that I want to do this first, and leave it there. And then just respectfully, you can say, okay, thank you very much. However, I just feel more comfortable taking this decision, and they will respect your decision. Most of the time they will, but you have to be comfortable enough in your decision to be firm about it. When you're not comfortable enough in your decision or your point of view, then it becomes a bit weird, and you don't have to argue everything. Sometimes just nod, say okay, and move on, and do the one that you feel most comfortable with. This happens even with your relationship with your parents. My mom, for example, my mom and I don't agree on everything, but I'm not going to be arguing with her. No, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. I've learned to nod, smile, say okay, and just do the one I want to do in a respectful way, really. That's it. Hello, can you guys hear me? I think Tusi has gone out again.
So you're still there, so you're waiting for me.
Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I said it's important for you to be comfortable and be able to articulate what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, I need to mute that person. Hello?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. And someone asked, is there a thing as too many mentors?
Too many is relative, right? So it depends on what you have the bandwidth for. I don't think there's any point in having relationships that you're unable to maintain, and then you now feel guilty when you need to call the person for something because you haven't spoken to the person in 6 months, and now you're only calling because you need something. So I would advise that you just take on as many mentorship relationships as you can handle. You're not collecting coins, let me put it that way. These are actual relationships that need to be maintained. So some people have the bandwidth to be able to manage 10 close friends at the same time. It's okay. If you know you only have the bandwidth to manage 3, focus on your 3 and keep it that way. So too much is only when you're unable to fan the flames of that relationship. And you don't always have to define every relationship as a mentorship relationship. Let me just say that. I have teachers. There's some people that are my teachers. I know that for this particular phase of my life, I'm learning X, Y, Z from this person. And I keep it like that. I don't need to enter into a relationship with you. If it's okay for me to learn from afar, then it's fine. So that's it. Just make sure that you only take on enough, as many as you can effectively manage and maintain.
Okay, thank you, Simi.
You're welcome.
So let's move on. Enough of the mentorship. Anybody that wants more information, we'll find Simi somewhere. I don't know how. She will tell us and we'll ask her. So I wanted to ask about imposter syndrome. I mean, quite a number of people struggle with imposter syndrome. I mean, you are young, you are sitting down as a boss, as a marketing boss in charge of a brand. Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome? If yes, how do you like fight
I
against
would,
this thing?
first of all, I wouldn't call myself a marketing boss. I still have a lot of growth to do career-wise. So let's first calm
But
down.
Stevie, you are someone is looking at you and you are on the person's vision board. So I mean, there are levels to this. So you have to understand and own it.
Fine. And this is not me displaying imposter syndrome.
Okay.
By the way, I guess we're viewing it from two different areas. But okay, so for me personally, I have really, really, really dealt with imposter syndrome until today. I still feel it a lot in different areas and with different things. And the breakthrough moment for me was when I realized that I'm not better than anybody and nobody is better than me. We're just different people running different races, and that's just what it is. Um, and I kind of had to just allow that sink in. And I found, for me, I even found like why this even sort of really hit home for me was because I also found like a scriptural reason for this. I mean, really, the truth is that nobody got to wherever they were without help or without support. And for me personally, and for most people, the reason why you feel the imposter syndrome is because you feel like you don't have the capacity to sit in the seats that you sit in. You don't have you're not smart enough. How did I get here? Somebody helped me. You just feel like you're not deserving. But please, who exactly is deserving? Really, let's be honest. There's nobody that becomes anything without help. Think about Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. Yes, he founded Facebook, but he had some help from his parents, right? His parents were well placed. Will you now say that because of that he's undeserving? I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Bill Gates, for example, one of the reasons why he got his breakthrough with his technology was because of his mom, who was well to do. So, I mean, it doesn't take, your journey is different and it is just what it is. Just try and focus on where you are. And for me, I found out that the root of my imposter syndrome was actually pride, because I was exalting that role I was sitting in like it was something larger than life. Come on, I will not be the first brand manager, neither will I be the last. This is not the most groundbreaking thing in the world. So we need to just get over ourselves first and foremost. I had to get over myself and just play it down a bit. And just look at it objectively. I'm not the only person in this seat. I'm not the youngest person in this seat either. And the moment I was able to just accept it and come off that high standing, it was okay. I was relaxed, and that just began the starting point. So first and foremost, look at your seat objectively, and get over it. Celebrate your victory, and then realize that it's okay. It's one of those things. I'm here with help, and that's okay. It's pride to think that you have to be, you have to be self-made. There's no self-made person. Everybody gets to where they are, based on a mix of luck and good positioning, and the stars aligning, or favor, as we would say in my own faith. So that's very important. The second thing is, and this is something I did recently when I was dealing with some sort of imposter syndrome in my current role. I asked for feedback. I think the second step is, one, you need to just ask, objectively say, okay, what are my strengths in this role? What am I doing well? And what am I not doing well? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? A lot of times it's easy for us to accept negative feedback, but it's hard for us to accept positive feedback. And expecting that your feedback will always be positive is also pride, because you think you cannot be 100. There has to be room for growth. If not, there's no reason. Then you're good and done. You don't need any more years on earth. So like recently, I asked, and I like to ask for feedback from both my peers, my mentors, and my subordinates. I ask my manager for feedback. I ask my colleagues for feedback, and I ask my subordinates, my agencies in the marketing space for feedback as well. How am I doing? What can I do better? And I learned to accept both their negative feedback and their positive feedback. Now, when I did this objective question Q&A with people who you know will give you good and unbiased feedback, I must say that. And you can ask many people. When you ask many people, it sort of helps you validate the feedback that you're getting. Right. So I asked, and then she's like, "Oh, you know what? You're actually doing well. I'm very proud of this and this and this. Honestly, I think you have done this well." And sometimes hearing it from other people, so it's not like you're getting your affirmation from other people, right? But you're just getting a balanced point of view. Because a lot of times people suffer from imposter syndrome, or I suffer from imposter syndrome because I'm hard on myself. My own standard of success is higher than the average person's own, I think, from my own point of view. So I learned to cut myself some slack, celebrate my wins, and then quickly work on my areas of development. The second thing I'd say is, because I actually wrote down some notes, I think one thing that also helps me is I surround myself with people who are doing as good as I am and doing better. The reason why I would feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, is because I probably feel like it's not for people like me or something. But if I have other friends who are doing fantastic things, I have them in my line of sight, it sort of helps you put things into context. Because you know how a one-eyed man, they say, is king in the land of the blind. When in your opinion, you feel like, oh my God, why am I here? This is such an exalted position to sit in. A lot of times it's just because maybe you need to widen your scope. You need to surround yourself with people who are doing as well as you're doing, or even better, so that to challenge you to do better. So you don't start thinking that you have arrived or you haven't yet arrived or something, but it helps you to focus on being better and being your best self. The second thing I would say is, and I think I touched on it in the last thing. So this is the last thing I want to say. Get comfortable with, how do I put this now? Get comfortable with help and support. I'll give you an example. I just switched jobs, right? I switched from employment from where I was before to Nestle. I've been in Nestle for 9 months now. And I got my Nestle role through my mentor, actually. Somebody recommended me for the role. And, somebody had hinted, whatever. It crossed my mind like, oh my God, am I just here because XYZ? So, okay, so I'm here because somebody could vouch for my abilities. This person did not vouch for my abilities because I paid him for it. He vouched for my abilities because he had worked with me before and he could put in a good work based on my track record. And that's okay. That's okay. Like, even if you're working in teams, for example, there's a particular project I've been working on at work now, and the project is just doing so well, like hits my KPI, and everybody's like, wow, Simi, well done, well done. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, but this idea did not come from just me. And oh my God, this was team effort. Then acknowledge that it's team effort and move on. You also tried. You put in the work. And so get comfortable with favor, get comfortable with help, get comfortable. You can't know everything, and that's just okay. And think about other people as well. I always try to look at other similar stories. Okay, how did this person get here? Okay, how this person got here too. So it's okay, like getting people to help, it's fine, it's all right. That's how the world works. And move on and make sure that you're doing better, but don't beat yourself down. And objectively, so I'll just say again, first things first, you have to get over exalting that seat. It is not, what's your one man's meat is another man's poison. Your dream of today is somebody's past glory. That's the irony of life. We're all on different journeys. So first of all, just objectively look at, this is great. I'm here. I acknowledge it, but there's a lot of work to do, period. The second thing is objectively assess your strengths and weaknesses and accept what you're doing well. And the ones that you're not doing well, or there's room for you to do better, take the feedback and work on it. But accept that you're doing okay and affirm yourself. It's so important for you to affirm yourself. I can't say it enough. And then the third thing I would say, surround yourself with like minds and people who are on the same journey as you are. When you're with people who are on the same journey as you are and have the same dreams like you guys have in your community, it's not strange anymore. It won't be strange because everybody is thinking the same way. But if you're with people who are people are always rolling their noses and rolling their eyes and are not with the program, you will always be feeling a bit uncomfortable wearing your crown, if I'll put it that way. And then the fourth thing is get comfortable with favor. Humbly accept. You can always say, attribute the glory to everybody, but it's okay. Like, it's all right. Everybody gets help at some point, and it doesn't make your success any less than it is. So those are my thoughts on handling imposter syndrome.
Simi, when are you going to write a book? Because you are loaded with gems. So I picked quite a lot. I mean, look at your seat objectively, celebrate your victories. You also talked about pride, about you thinking, let me be self-made and the likes. But really, luck and good positioning can also grant you that role that you are in. And someone actually asked on the group, like 2 people that they don't know what imposter syndrome is. It's basically you doubting yourself, your accomplishment, thinking you're a fraud, right? Like, do I really deserve this role that I'm in? Okay, like Simi mentioned, this role that she's in now, she was recommended by a mentor. So Simi can begin to think and doubt herself and say, this one that my mentor recommended me, am I sure I can do this, right? But she actually gave us practical ways to overcome them. Thank you so much, Simi. Okay, guys, if you have questions, please. We're getting Simi now for free. Maybe like in 3 months' time now, we'll be paying her to hear from her. Right? So there was something else I wanted to ask. And it was about support system. I know you've talked about mentors. What about peers, like your friends? Do you have like a community, role models and the likes that you actually go to for accountability, right? And really, how did you get them? Is it like from school or on this journey of life? Anyone that resonates with you, you latch on them, right? Just share with us.
Okay, so I think it's all been a mix. I think that your relationships are very important, and a support system is so important. I don't know about you guys, but there's no point of what's the point of having promotions and getting promoted back to back, and there's nobody to celebrate with you or hail you or join your Instagram live, like most of my friends have joined today, and I've been hailing them since I joined privately in the chat box. But I think relationships are so important, and I have I have a strong support system, and I realized looking back, because I was reflecting on this journey, and the reason why I have supportive friends is because I also try to support them as well. So you yourself, are you a support system? That's a very important question to ask yourself. Are you a support system? Everybody likes people who support them. It's interesting how this morning I was going through my pictures and I saw there was one time I have a group of friends. I have a friendship community. We call ourselves the 360-degree ladies. I did not know them. We all went to the same university, but I did not know them. I knew them, but we're not close friends until a friend of mine started the group. And she put us all together back in 2015, and we just tried to support each other through our goals. So in that particular area, the support group was sort of created. There are lots of WhatsApp groups now. Everybody's always creating one community or the other. But then I realized that these people only became a strong support system for me when I invested in the relationship. And then I was looking through my notes and I saw that there was one time when I went through, me and my ex-boyfriend broke up, and then my friend sent me flowers. They sent flowers to my office with a card, one savage card, to make me feel better. It still makes me laugh too now. But it was so helpful and comforting. That's a community as well. And we're a group of people who are intentional about making sure that we're there for each other and supporting each other in our goals. That is organic. It wasn't really organic, to be honest, but you just decide to. There are people everywhere that you can invest in to be able to build like strong friendships. And I've also had people that I met along the way in different ways. There are many ways to meet people, but I find that the friendships that stick and actually become like a strong support system are those relationships that you invest in. My family is a support system for me, but my family did not automatically become a support system. My family members, my siblings and parents are my support system because I give them the opportunity to even support me. For example, mommy, I'm going on a live today, or I'm going to be talking about this. What do you think? Get them. If you don't tell them, they will not know. I tell my dad about every single career move I'm making and give him the opportunity to be a part of my life. You can't have a support system if you're not vulnerable enough to open up and say, you know what, I need support. So it's very important to open up and give people room to be, and also be there for people as well. And then you need people for different things. I have my Global Shapers Community Lagos Hub is a support system for me. When it's a community that I'm a part of when it comes to development work. We see the eye to eye on things, and we can vent about if you see our group and we talk about how this is wrong and oh my god, we need to change this, what are we going to do, blah blah blah. That's a community as well. It's not only about the groups that we have, but whenever we sit down to catch up, I hear what you're doing, I share what I'm doing, we share ideas in that particular space. I just joined a professional community called Professional Women's Roundtable. And that one is a career support system for me. We sit down, we talk. I can tell them whenever we're there and we're sharing or we have a guest, I can share what I'm dealing with, and then we rub minds together and all of that. I think it's it is so important to have a support system, and you build a support system by being a support system yourself. Just open your eyes and see and be there for people. It can be little gestures. I mean, there might be somebody here who is struggling. Maybe you feel like, oh, I don't have friends, or I don't have supportive friends, or my birthday, nobody sends me a gift. Have you sent somebody a gift? If you want cake on your birthday, please give cake. I promise you will get lots of cakes on your birthday, even if it's just the guilt of this person bought this thing from me, have to buy it. It will still happen. So be a support system yourself and just open up and give people room to support you in your life by being open and vulnerable.
Thank you so much, Simi. Simi, if you see my notes, okay now. But really, I mean, I got that for you to get supportive friends around you, for you to have a support system, you have to actually be a strong support yourself. And something I also got is that you have to actually invest in the relationship, open up, be vulnerable. And I mean, just reminded me of one of our newsletters that we discussed earlier this month and talked about opening up and vulnerability. Because really, you might realize that you have so many friends around you, but they don't know what's happening. Why? Because you don't let them in. You're trying to figure things out yourself, and you're fighting the chest to the wall to your chest. So you have to actually be deliberate to be vulnerable to people. And you also talked about, yes, your family. I love how your family became supportive, that you deliberately had to tell them this is what's going on in my life. I'm having this life. I'm having this, daddy, these are the job opportunities, or these are the openings, this is the interview I'm going for. What do you think? And I think that is really key, and we can get so many lessons. I mean, I told you to write a book, but you think I'm joking. But yeah. So on to the next. I mean, someone has put it on the group that Tostos asks about the ring. Asks about the ring, because I mean, I saw it on one of your posts. No, I actually saw the proposal on someone's Insta story. I can't remember the person, but I know it was there's someone in your circle that they proposed to me, I think the day before or something like that. So I also I said, Simi is getting married. Hey, my God. Like, and you know, on your Instagram, there's nothing. We not see any man and everything, which is really good. So, I mean, you have to share with us your relationship. How, not about who is the person and all that, but how do you make relationship work? You are kind of busy, you are focused, you are driven, right? I'm sure you cannot just say yes to any kind of person that, I mean, doesn't get you. So I'm sure even the man is really on point. So you just have to share with us, like, what were your rules, dating, how was dating like? Yeah, I think that. Or how is dating? You're still dating now. Oh no, you're not a fiancé stage. No.
I actually can't believe you're asking me relationship questions. I'm shy. Wow.
Oh.
He's actually here, somewhere here.
Nobody should go and look for the person.
Shout out to you.
Hey. God, when?
The truth is, because initially, you know, you had hinted on asking questions on relationships and how do you balance. And I was actually thinking back to dating in general and all the people I've dated, and I've never dated anybody that was uncomfortable with my own attitude to work, because I'm very open about it. So before you even asked me out, you would have seen that this one, even though I argue with my friends all the time that I'm not a workaholic, I don't think I'm a workaholic, I don't think I'm like a die-hard career person. I don't think I'm. In fact, I tell even my mom. I said, Mom, I'm so unserious. I feel like I need to work harder, and all of that. But I mean, I'm open about who I am and what I'm about. So before they even come and meet me, they've already seen it because I'm sort of an open book. So they would have gauged to see
Okay.
whether they can deal or not. So I've never had a negative experience on that as well, because somehow you attract the kind of people that you are. Or so far, let me talk about myself, because this thing is subjective. Personally, I've only been with people who are fine with, this is on the subject of dating, comfortable with my own drive. And oftentimes I was telling my fiance, and I don't know how to pronounce it well. I tell him all the time that I feel like he's so hardworking, and he's more hardworking like than me, and I need to learn how to work hard, because he also has his own dreams and purposes and things that he's pushing. So it's fine. And you yourself, before you say yes to dating someone, or if you're a guy, before you ask to date someone, you have to gauge and see if you guys have shared values. So that is not strange. It shouldn't be strange. If maybe you need to put in an hour later at work, it shouldn't be strange to the person you're dating. If the person also has that common value of hard work as well. So I think it's important to just be open about who you are and make unemotional decisions about the people that you date. And of course, choosing the person that you're going to get married to is so important. I remember there was one time when I was in university, speaking on the subject of dating. I had two guys I was talking to, and there was, now if I, and let me not go into that. Two guys I was talking to. One was, and I'm going to be very honest. One was, I liked one more, right?
Okay.
I was not double dating. We're not dating. We're just talking. But you guys walk away with the notion that I double date people. But I just in talks. And there was one I really liked. I thought that he was cuter and everything. And then there was this other person. And both people were interested. But at the end of the day, I decided to go with, let's say, X and Y. X I liked better. Y I liked, but I liked him as well. But it wasn't as butterfly as the X one, but it was there. And I made the decision to go with Y instead of X. And I sort of just let the conversations with X die down, because I had an abstinence value. Right? And X did not have, I mean, you will know that you will know when somebody is not, your values are not aligned. So I gave myself brain. I did not wait to be, I just said, if I date this boy, it's going to be, it will be hard to convince, but this one understands it. So I decided to walk away from that particular one. So in the same way, you already know how you are. Listen and look at people and objectively decide whether, does this person, can we work together? Are we aligned on what are my deal breakers? What works? What doesn't work? If it doesn't work, please, by all means, dust your sandal and move on to the next. I don't think there's only one person for anybody. So I'd say that on the subject of balancing work and everything. However, I'm learning very quickly. So there's this particular book I've been reading. I've been recommending it to all my friends. It's called How Will You Measure Your Life?
Okay.
I can send it to you and you can share it with your with the community. And he was talking about how he explained this analogy, and I was sharing it with my my fiance. He was talking about how it's not, your strategy is not strategy if you don't put resources behind it. So even if you say that, okay, so let me give an example. My own value system or priorities, I've decided that it's God, family and friends turned family, and career. That's my own order of importance, right? That's what I've decided for my life. But if I say that, pay that lip service, and I don't invest in my family relationship, or invest in my friendships, I'm doing, and I spend all my time only working or only doing work things, not showing up for friends' birthday parties because I'm tired from work, blah, 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 then I'm not really executing that particular strategy. So you also have to invest in your dating relationship. You need to create time for the people you love. You can't say, oh, because I'm so, then don't date if you know that you're too busy with your career. There's no point. Like, it's not by force. Maybe wait until later when you're, but if you decide that this is what you want to do, then you also need to be able to invest time in it as well. Reducing how much time you sleep, or sometimes prioritizing the person over work, or sometimes just finding a balance. I don't think people talk about that enough, but you need to invest in your relationships for them to grow. Not even just romantic relationships, even your friendships as well. So I think that helps. I invest in my relationship with my partner. I invest time. We go out on dates, blah blah blah, and then we're aligned on our values. So the person is not demanding. He's not demanding. Um, he's not asking me to not do the things that I love. I don't know if that makes sense, because one, our values are aligned, and then over and above that, I'm investing in our relationship with time, effort, energy, and all things that are required.
Okay, thank you, Simi. You mentioned that one, it's important for you to be true to yourself and have both parties should have shared values and be open about it. I mean, discuss this. I know there are times that we ladies might want to like push back and hold back and say, I don't want to let him know that I'm a workaholic because he might just leave me. But like, there are many fishes in the sea. But like, you have to discuss, be open about it. Then there's something you mentioned. I want you to elaborate. You talked about making unemotional decisions about the people you want to date. Can you like just elaborate, speak more on that?
Well, yeah, so just like I said, right? So you already have your values that you've identified, and you should be observant enough of the people that you are with to observe their own values. A good big indicator of values is not necessarily what they say, but what they do and what they give their time to, what are the kind of things that they talk to you about. If someone says to you that, if a guy is saying to you or a lady is saying to you that, oh, I really want to, I believe in the value of hard work, I want to be successful in my career or my business, blah, blah, blah. But the person never tells you about this job that the person is applying for, or this way this person is investing in the person's career or stated goal, then it's already obvious that that thing is just lip service. So I think it's important to observe and just be honest. It's a bit interesting when people say, when for me to say don't make emotional decisions or don't base your decisions wholly based on emotions when it comes to relationships, because relationships are emotional, right? So
Yeah.
what do you mean don't base it? But I think it's just being objective enough to know if something is working and if something is not. And I'll share something about this on when there's a particular relationship that I had to walk away from. And what triggered me to walk away from that relationship was because um, of one of my, it was going south and I was too deep in my emotions to understand what was going on or to accept what was going on. And I was having a conversation with my friend one day. She's actually on the call. She organized this paid forward event and they asked us to write down a few questions. And one of the questions was write down the top three things. Write down the top three things that top three most important things to you. That was the question that she asked. And I put my paper down. The relationship was an unhealthy one. At that point, the relationship had become unhealthy. And so I was about to write down the answers to my questions. And that's when it hit me that the most important thing to me at that point in time was not me. It was not the Lord. It was not my family, my parents that trained me through school. It was this young man. It was unhealthy. And that was the day that I made the tough call to walk away from that relationship because it wasn't good enough. So yeah, you just have to be objective about where you are and where you're going. If there's anybody here, if you guys have dated anybody before, do you remember how when you're dating, the person is the best friend with sliced bread? Then when you break up and then you now look back at this person, you're like, what was I doing? It's no longer that fantastic anymore. That's what I mean. So just have your values in front of you and make tough decisions. You might feel bad, you cry, but it's better for you in the long run.
Thank you, Simi.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the book, How Will You Measure Your Life? Someone is asking for the name of the author.
His name is Clayton. I will find, I always forget his last name. It's a C name. So I'll send it
Okay.
right after
Okay.
the call.
Thank you, Simi. So, Simi, with marriage planning, do you have jitters already? Are you scared of starting a new life with another person? Well, even if it's like you guys are both alive, but I mean, any jitters right now?
Yeah, there are a few jitters, but not negative jitters. Just like, oh my God, my life is about to change. I mean, if not anything, I'm about to drop my name, my NY name, for another name,
Okay.
but all positive. All positive, I must say. I'm just focusing on getting ready for the next season. I'm excited. I'm learning all I can, and I'm just deciding, putting things in place basically mentally. So it's more excitement than anything.
Thanks, Simi. So, guys, I think I've asked Simi every question that I prepared for her. So it's left to you guys now. And I mean, I think, let me see the time. 6:30, let's say 6:30. So can we take 15 minutes questions with you, Simi? Is that fine?
Yes, that's fine.
So guys, if you have any question, you can raise your hand if you want to speak to Simi. Okay, Dami just did. Dami, you can ask your question. Okay, Dami said, what advice do you have for someone who wants to switch from pharmacy? That means the person didn't study, is not, well, from pharmacy to marketing communications in FMCG with no prior experience in marketing. Yeah, so figure that.
Okay, so on switch. Okay, so my first question is, I don't know if you know this person personally. How far gone is the person in the person's career? Are you like 2 years out of school or something? Have you been a pharmacist for so long? The thing with marketing is, from what I've seen in the industry, they value experience more than anything. In my previous organization, I know someone who switched from he was an R&D specialist, so he was in the science field, right? So he was a technical person, and he switched to marketing. Let's say as a technical person, he was a senior manager.
Okay.
And for him to be able to switch to marketing, he had to go down and become an assistant brand manager to learn from the beginning. So how much do you want it? If you really want it, then you will have to start from the beginning, because that's just how marketers are. They feel like, especially if he said FMCG, right? He or she?
Yes, she.
Okay. So FMCG, they want you to understand. You need to start from the beginning to understand the mathematics, the commercial and everything. So you can't go from senior manager in pharmacy, let me just put it that way, to becoming a senior marketing person, because you don't understand it. So first and foremost, you have to be ready to start from the beginning. The best way to get into marketing that I've seen, most people I know, graduate training programs are great. You can look to join a graduate training program. Most FMCGs have graduate training programs that they start, and you can ask. Another thing you can do is you can take a certification, Chartered Institute of Marketing. So you can take a course with PIM on foundations of marketing, just to brush up your knowledge. And then within your pharmacy space, to be able to build experience in marketing, can you try to do something? If you're in the pharmacy space and maybe you work at a pharmacy, can you volunteer to do some marketing for them? Can you volunteer to see how you can grow sales, get people to come in? Just it doesn't even necessarily have to be with your formal job. It could be volunteering with a non-profit and helping them to raise funds for a particular charity or something, just to build some expertise. And then apply for graduate training programs as well, and network with people in the industry. So a lot of times, most of the people that have slid into my DMs that told me that I wanted to switch to marketing, whenever I hear of opportunities within the marketing space, I just DM them and I forward their CVs. At least, hopefully, they get some sort of peek in the door. So that's it. Look for some experience with non-profits or in your current organization. Get some formal knowledge through Chartered Institute of Marketing. I recommend that very strongly. That would help you to even understand, and then be ready to start from the beginning.
Okay, thank you, Simi. So you recommended graduate training programs. The person also might need to step down, to gain experience, because that is really important. And the person can actually volunteer to maybe raise funds, do a stretch, or do a project at work that is aligned to marketing, communications. We also talked about the certifications, yes, CIM, Foundation in Marketing. That's the way to also gain into the marketing space.
Yes, and talk to people, please. Talk to people on LinkedIn, slide into people's DMs and just tell them you're looking to switch to marketing. If you have any roles, just package it make sure your LinkedIn picture is fine though. Don't be looking all weird with a selfie with, I don't know, like you're going for a party. Just, package, come correct. And let them know. And they will, because they're always looking for people in this industry. And I find that marketers like to hire people that are recommended for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would definitely help.
Thank you so much. So another person asked me this privately, that how do you stay sane? That you obviously juggle a lot of things, global shaper, Lagos shaper, volunteer, marketing. That how do you stay sane? How do you get that balance? Are there times that you're tired and just feel like, oh well, I'll be all right. Everybody will be all right. Let me just sleep. Like, how do you stay sane? How do you refresh, if that's the word?
I don't think I juggled that many balls. I was just saying now that I feel like I'm not working hard enough. So sometimes people look so busy on the outside, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad. For me personally, there was a time in my life when I felt like I was so busy. Like I felt like I was just tired all the time, blah, blah, blah. And then I went for a Wimby's graduate training program. This was even when I was just out, I think after NYC or something. And there was an exercise that we did. The lady asked us to record what we spend our time on, right? Okay. So every day, like a timesheet. Most of the people who work in consulting, they have to fill a timesheet of what you're doing during the day. So she made us write down what we were doing during the day. And when I wrote that down, I sort of realized that, okay, I think that at that particular time, I realized I was spending like 4 hours on social media. And I'm like, wait, so this is a good 4 hours that I'm just spending doing nothing. So a lot of times, just kind of try and figure out what exactly you're spending your time on. If you use an Apple phone, you'll probably be able to measure your screen time. A lot of times we're just spending time on the wrong things. So that's one thing I did, and I had to cut it down. And then another thing is, yes, I'm a big believer in, my motto is pace yourself. A lot of times I tell my friends, you have to do that today. Can't you do it tomorrow? I mean, I can just shut down sometimes. I can just, pay a little attention to this and just focus on this part of my life. For the longest time, I kind of deprioritized blogging because I was focused on growing my career.
Okay.
And when I get a balance, then I go back to that. So that is always very important. Pace yourself. And then a lot of times, there are a lot of time wasters that we miss. So I check my time wasters, and I see. So for example, during this lockdown, for the first 5 weeks of the lockdown, first 4 weeks of the lockdown, I realized I wasn't being as productive as I was. But then I started watching a new series on Netflix, and that series is 45 minutes per episode. And I used to binge watch like 4 episodes. I'm like, wait, this is like 4 hours. This is 4 hours. This is where my time is going. So just take an audit, do a time audit, and cut off things as required, and pace yourself.
Okay, thank you. You said that it's important for you to measure your productivity in order to stay sane. Know what you're spending time on, really. Know which is actually helpful and which is not, then treat accordingly. You also talked about pacing yourself, which I really can. I mean, it's like, just this is it for you. Like, pace yourself, really. Is it everything that you should be doing? I mean, can you like categorize your life and say, okay, for now, I don't want to focus on my side also that is not generating money yet, because I want to grow on my career that's paying the bill. Or can I just focus on this building relationship with my family members while I focus on all? So I think that's really key. Then another person asked, did we lose Simi? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. So another person asked that, how do we get a graduate training program with an FMCG? He said that he has searched all through, and he has found, and it's been difficult for him to come across one.
Hmm. Okay, so for me, when I came into my own role, it was advertised, but I didn't actually see the advertisement. Someone told me about it actually. Someone told me about my graduate training program and encouraged me to apply and forwarded my CV for me. So that also goes into networking with people in the industry. So can I suggest that you identify at least 5 FMCGs that you want to work in, and maybe talk to people within the organizations and ask them if they could please prompt you when there is an opening. Most FMCGs have LinkedIn pages as well. Sometimes they publish for graduate training roles. The good thing is it's usually open far and wide. So it's an easier role to get into as opposed to a more experienced role. So just follow those particular organizations closely. Try to get connections on the inside within the industry. I'd say they usually do every year, but realistically the truth is now with everything that's going on with COVID and all of that, a lot of organizations are not really looking to hire, quite honestly. So maybe can you volunteer to work for free or something as well, and see, but identify your top 5 and follow those ones closely whilst widening your net. I still get hot Nigerian job alerts on my email till today, and I used that when I was job hunting initially. So that can help. And if you can just follow me on LinkedIn and send me a message if I hear of anything, I will be happy to tell you about it.
Okay, thank you very much. At the end, you tell us how we'll connect with you. Yeah, but you made mention for us to identify 5 companies we like to work in. Then also you talked about finding people in those companies and networking with them, letting them know that, oh, you're open for graduate training programs, and if they see any vacancy in their place of work, that they should let you know. You also talked about volunteering. You also talked about volunteering. That is also a way to build experience and can also put you in front of these employers. And of course, you through your LinkedIn, I should follow you, which we will. So the next person, someone asked, hold on, let me just confirm. The person said, have you had to dissociate yourself from friends or acquaintances that do not align with your vision? If yes, do you have conversations with them to move on from these relationships, or you rather just cut them off? I don't know if you got that question.
So in my former life, old me, I wouldn't have a conversation. I would just cut off. I've done this quite a bit with a lot of relationships. But as I've grown older, I have learned that that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. Yeah, that's a lesson I've learned. So I wouldn't advise you to just cut people off like that. I think that you can give some space. So if someone was very close to you and you figure out that, okay, you know what, me and this person cannot be close at this point in time because we don't seem to be seeing eye to eye or whatever, you can pedal back on the relationship. But I don't advise doing a hard cutoff. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because what if you need something tomorrow? Then you'll not be able to raise your head up when the person is passing. Like, leave your relationships in a nice enough place. You don't all have to be best friends, but you don't necessarily have to live as enemies either. So I think it's important I'm a big proponent of guarding your space. I have lots of acquaintances and very few friends, but I try to leave my relationships warm and leave relationships where they're supposed to be. No hard cuts. There's no point of. So, for example, I remember in secondary school, all the people that I had beef with in my secondary school now, today it doesn't matter. None of those things matter. Like, it does not matter. So why would I want to sacrifice the lifetime of a potentially helpful bridge type relationships just for the pettiness of today? If that makes any sense. So you can, if somebody does anything to you that you don't like, you can have a conversation with it in a platonic way. Just express your unhappiness about the situation and just be there for them. If you don't have to talk every day, maybe reduce your talking to 2 times a week, but still check in, make sure they're okay, and keep the relationship warm. There's no reason to convert friends into enemies, in my humble opinion.
Okay. Thank you. So you talked about being important for us to guide our space, really. And basically that if anyone really doesn't agree with whatever you are or whatever you do, you can just maybe have that conversation, just distance yourself. You can still be there, but not like you cut it off, like social media now, cut off, right? Or like you can still be there in your space. Another person asks if do you necessarily have to be in Lagos? Because I mean, there's so many people. Some people are from Kano here, Abuja, Uyo. The person asks, do you necessarily have to be in Lagos to get into the industry? I believe marketing industry. What do you think?
Do you have to? Okay, I'll answer it in two different buckets. Do you have to be residing in Lagos to be able to get the job? I don't think so. I think you just need to be sure that you can make yourself available when they call you for an interview or when they call you for a test. I think you can. I have people in the industry that got jobs from different places and then have to move. It depends on where the organization is seated. So if the organization you're working for have their marketing team seated in Lagos, for example, then it's possible that you probably have to move when you get the job. But it doesn't mean that you can't secure the job from where you are and then move afterwards. Most FMCGs have their headquarters in Lagos, so most of them unfortunately have their marketing operations here. But I know that there's some organizations that are happy with remote work, so I think it's subjective. Depending on the industry. If you have an organization that you have your eyes on, just check and see where they are. And it's a conversation you can have with HR. Can I work remotely for this role? Can I come in once a week? Can I come in once a month? Can I work from Abuja? I think most organizations will be receptive with this COVID thing. At least they're saying that remote work is possible. But please widen your nets. Just make sure you can come for the interviews or the tests.
Okay. So the important thing is to make yourself available actually for the interview. Then from there, I'm sure you'll be able to decide if it's what you want. Yeah, you'll be able to know. Okay, so someone asked, what is your LinkedIn name?
Sinmisola Nojimu Yusuf. I will type it out.
Okay.
In the chat box. It's the same name on the flyer actually. So just my full name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and someone is asking me a very funny question. But I mean, no question is stupid. Last week in the newsletter, I talked about people asking questions. So I'm going to take this. Person said, how can I find a good man like yours? That's what the person said.
Maybe he should come and answer the question for himself. Maybe he should come and answer the question by himself. But I was actually listening to a very interesting podcast from one of my mentors on the subject of singleness this afternoon, and I will just borrow from what she said. Her name is Kemi Onobanjo. I will send the link to Toasting so she can send it to you guys via the newsletter. I think what she said there was so beautiful. She talked about how it's important for you to live. You find the person while living. You don't pause your life because you're looking for somebody. So she advised that you live your life, do the things that you love. It's in doing those things that you stumble on the person that you're meant to be with, who is good or at least will be good for you. So I'd say live your life, continue, and then the person will find you. Keep network, go out, go for dinners, go out, date, meet people, but don't meet people. You're saying, so I'm just saying exactly what she said, or at least I'm trying to paraphrase and just shorten it. Don't go out trying to meet people thinking, is this the person? Is that the person? It's too much pressure. It's just too much pressure. So just leave and you find when you find it, you find, until then. But I'd say just live your life and focus on being a great person yourself. But all the juice is within the podcast. I think it's like an hour, 30 minutes long. Fantastic. She has a great person in her life and she's someone I really respect and look up to in that area. So I'll send it to you. That will answer the question. Spot on.
Thank you, Simi. Thank you very much. It is 6:46. I took 1 minute more, so sorry about that. Any final words really from the community? I mean, I don't think anybody has any question anymore, but just so that we don't take your time. Sunday is important. Tomorrow is Monday. You might be going to work. So
I'm not going, no. I'm staying in my house. I don't know about y'all, but We have to see what happens
Exactly.
before we
True.
go out and be sure that it's safe to come out. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to you, Tosin, for the opportunity. You're my younger sister's namesake.
Yay! Family
Yeah,
member.
because it's Tosin. Thank you so much to everyone for coming. Thank you, Tosin. I'm so honored and happy to be given the opportunity to share. I hope that we've learned a thing or two, at least from my experience. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who joined. There are like 45 people on this call, or there were 45 at some point. Thank you to all my friends, Punta and Chidera. Sorry, let me call them out one by one. Bolu, Ebun, Chedi, Temi, my bae, Toby, Tolu. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'm so happy. And I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone.
Yeah, so in line with that, you could just let us know your LinkedIn name. You told us same thing on Instagram, Facebook, wherever we can find you. I mean, and don't answer anybody that does not send you a personal message that I joined from Tostos chat. Don't follow them back if they don't.
Please follow Tosin. Join the even me. I'm going to sign up and join this community. So.
Yay! It's an honor.
So,
it's an honor. Yeah, so let's know where we can follow your social media to catch up and join the gang. Yeah.
All right. So my handle is at Sinmisola NY, SINMISOLANY. You can follow me on social. You can follow me on LinkedIn at Sinmisola Nojimu Yusuf. I blog at sinmisolany.com. So you can also follow and sign up. I don't have regular newsletters yet, but I might be starting that one very soon as the spirit leads. So yeah, looking forward to connecting with you guys.
Thank you very much, Simi. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you immediately you answered. You were the first yes I got. I'd gotten like 2 no, and I was like, Tosin, who sent you? Come, just close this dream and continue with your life. And you sent the yes, and I'm really grateful. You took out time. I know how difficult it is to dress up during this period. Even as I was dressing up today, I said, oh my God, who sent me? I've not worn clothes, like real clothes in days, weeks. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Hopefully we'll keep in touch. We'll continue to keep in touch. And I mean, continue this conversation online. Thank you very much. Bye, guys. Say bye to Simi.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't see my head girl on this call. Sorry, I just have to hail her. Kumi was my head girl in secondary school.
Oh,
hi, Kumi.
Hi, Simi.
Nice to see
you too.
Wow.
Oh, I know Kumi. Hi, Kumi. We're in Loot together. So that's
nice.
Yeah, we were to sing.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.